Animal extinction has always occurred naturally. However, with the development of human civilization, this process has significantly accelerated. Many species have disappeared not due to nature, but because of human intervention, extermination, and the destruction of their habitats. In the 20th century, many large animals and marine creatures went extinct. And this process continues in the 21st century. In recent decades, our planet has lost several unique species of animals that will never return. Do you want to know which of them have recently gone extinct? The Yangtze River dolphin, or baiji, once majestically navigated the waters of the Yangtze River, being one of the rarest and most unique freshwater dolphins on the planet. However, by the 1970s, the population of the baiji began to decline rapidly. Industrialization in China was gaining momentum, and the active development of rivers led to a catastrophic decline in the population of this dolphin. Factories, plants, construction projects, and the intensive use of waterways have radically changed the natural habitat. By the mid-20th century, the situation became threatening. Dolphins faced constant dangers. The construction of large hydroelectric power plants on the Yangtze River not only destroyed the natural habitats of the baiji, but also altered the river's flow, making the conditions for existence unsuitable. The water transport, which was rapidly developing in the region, became deadly for these animals. They would get caught under boats and entangled in fishermen's nets. In addition, the level of water pollution increased significantly, and every day the dolphins had to struggle for survival in an increasingly toxic environment. Despite efforts of ecologists and scientists to conserve the baiji, the population declined. In the 2000s, it became clear that this species was on the brink of extinction. The last recorded individual was spotted in 2002, and shortly after that, the baiji was declared an extinct species. The disappearance of the Yangtze River dolphin has become a tragic reminder of how quickly an irreversibly unique animal species can vanish under the pressure of human activity. Today, the baiji symbolizes not only the loss of one of the rarest mammals but also the importance of nature conservation. This case shows what indifference and careless attitudes towards ecology can lead to, and it serves as a reminder of the necessity to protect those who remain. The Javan tiger, one of the smallest subspecies of tiger, once inhabited the densely populated Indonesian island of Java. These graceful predators were a symbol of the island's wilderness. But the rapid development of human civilization has led to tragic consequences. In the 20th century, the population of Java grew rapidly, and in order to provide food for themselves, the locals were forced to cut down forests, turning them into rice fields and other agricultural lands. The forests that were once home to the Javan tigers disappeared one by one. With each passing decade, the natural habitat of the tigers became smaller, leaving the animals with nowhere to live and hunt. The ecological situation on the island has worsened, along with the chances of survival for these majestic predators. But it was not only deforestation that caused their extinction. Tigers were also actively hunted, either out of fear or for their valuable skin and bones. Local residents ruthlessly exterminated Javan tigers. By the end of the 20th century, the population of tigers on the island had decreased to a critical level. As early as the 1970s, scientists raised the alarm, but it was impossible to stop the process. The last known individuals of the Javan tiger were spotted in the 1990s. Shortly after this, the species was officially recognized as extinct, right on the threshold of the 21st century. The disappearance of the Javan tiger has become a bitter lesson about how uncontrolled agricultural development and poaching can lead to the destruction of an entire species. Today, it serves as a reminder of how important it is to protect the wild corners of our planet and its inhabitants to avoid the repetition of such tragedies. The Chinese paddlefish, a representative of one of the largest freshwater fish, once inhabited the rivers of China and was a true giant among river dwellers. However, the fate of this remarkable species turned out to be tragic. For many years, the Yangtze River dolphin was caught in fishermen's nets, which significantly reduced its population. Moreover, the destruction of its natural habitat caused by the construction of dams and hydroelectric power stations led to the species' final extinction. Since the early 1980s, the Chinese paddlefish has been on the brink of extinction. With each passing year, its population decreased, and despite efforts to conserve this species, it proved too vulnerable to changes in the environment. The last sighting of a living paddlefish was in 2003, and since then, its existence has not been confirmed. The disappearance of the Chinese paddlefish is another example of how human activity, including overfishing and the destruction of natural ecosystems, can permanently erase unique animal species from the face of the earth. The Taiwan clouded leopard, once considered a unique endemic of Taiwan, has permanently disappeared from the face of the earth. This rare and graceful predator was an intermediate link between big and small cats, possessing a unique beauty and agility. However, like many other species, the Formosan leopard was unable to withstand the destruction of its habitat. The mass deforestation in Taiwan, caused by the development of agriculture and industry, has led to animals losing their natural shelter. The Taiwan leopard, whose habitat was rapidly shrinking, was unable to adapt to these changes. Gradually, the population of the species decreased, and attempts to protect it from extinction proved futile. The last representative of the Formosan clouded leopard was seen in the early 2000s, and by 2004, the species was officially declared extinct. This case serves as yet another warning of how uncontrolled human activity can destroy the rarest species, leaving only memories of how they once adorned our planet. The Iberian ibex, once a proud inhabitant of the mountain ranges of the Pyrenees, has become one of the most remarkable examples of extinction and attempts to overcome it in modern science. This subspecies of ibex, which inhabited Spain and France, was officially declared extinct in 2000. The main reason for its extinction was, unfortunately, intense hunting in the 19th century, when uncontrolled shooting, tragically, led to its decline. Eventually, the species was declared completely and irreversibly extinct in the wild and in captivity by the early 20th century. It seemed that hope for its preservation had faded forever as a result of human activities, such as overhunting and habitat destruction. But in 2009, an unprecedented scientific experiment took place, which went down in history as the first attempt to resurrect an extinct species. Scientists used DNA samples preserved from the skin of the last Pyrenean ibex to create its clone. It was an astonishing and ambitious attempt to bring back to life an animal that had gone extinct nearly 10 years ago. In laboratories, scientists took a DNA sample, implanted it into the egg cell of a surrogate mother, and after many months of hard work, a miracle occurred. The clone of the Pyrenean ibex female was able to carry and give birth to offspring. Can you believe it? This moment became a true triumph of modern science. For the first time, an extinct species was brought back to life, but the joy was short-lived. Just a few minutes after birth, the newborn goat died due to lung deformity. This was a big blow to the researchers who had high hopes for the project. Despite this tragic outcome, the experiment showed that the resurrection of extinct species could be a reality, and scientists continue to work on similar projects. The case of the Pyrenean ibex reminds us of how fragile ecosystems can be and how easily humans can destroy an entire species. The disappearance of this species has become a vivid example of how important it is to take timely measures for the protection of animals before they disappear forever. This tragic experience also showed that even with the most advanced technologies, scientists are still unable to fully restore what has been lost, but the doors for such experiments are still open. The quagga, a subspecies of the Burchell zebra that once inhabited the plains of modern-day South Africa, fell victim to intense hunting and human economic activities in the 19th century. These unusual zebras, which had a distinctive coloration with a striped front like a regular zebra and a nearly solid colored back, were once a common species in their native territory. However, due to its relatively small habitat range and competition for food with livestock, the quagga became vulnerable to extinction. In the mid-19th century, mass hunting of quaggas reached its peak. Animals were killed not only for meat and skins, but also to clear pasture for livestock. The population of quaggas was rapidly declining, and by the 1870s, there were almost none left in the wild. The last wild quagga died in 1878, depriving this species of the chance for recovery. Can you imagine? However, the tragedy did not end there. The last known quagga lived in the Amsterdam Zoo, where it died on August 13, 1883. For several decades, it was believed that quaggas might still exist in the wild, and the species was not officially recognized as extinct. It was only in 1900 that the world finally realized that the quagga had permanently disappeared from the face of the earth. Interestingly, since the late 20th century, scientists have attempted to resurrect the quagga through a selective breeding project known as the Quagga Project. They used the DNA of closely related relatives of the quagga, the Burchell's zebra, and over several generations, they managed to produce individuals that are externally very similar to the extinct quagga. Although this is not a complete return of an extinct species, such successes demonstrate that modern technology can provide a chance for the revival of lost wildlife. The story of the quagga is a sad reminder of how careless attitudes toward natural resources and predatory exploitation can erase an entire species from the face of the earth. The northern white rhinoceros, once majestic and formidable, is now on the brink of complete extinction. As of March 19, 2018, only 2 females remain, which makes the subspecies effectively extinct. Both females belong to the Dvor Králov Zoo in the Czech Republic, but they reside in the Ol Pejeta Conservancy in Kenya, where they are guarded around the clock by armed rangers. This strict oversight is necessary for their protection. For a long time, poachers have ruthlessly exterminated these majestic animals for their horns. In this same reserve lived the last male northern white rhinoceros, who was 45 years old. He died in 2018 from old age, leaving this subspecies virtually extinct. However, the story of the northern white rhinoceros has received unexpected hope for revival. In the summer of 2019, one of the females, thanks to in vitro fertilization named ECO, was able to give birth to a healthy northern white rhinoceros calf. Although this successful IVF procedure offers a faint hope for the future of the species, scientists continue to work on the possibility of preserving the genetic material of rhinos. This story serves as a reminder of how fragile even the most powerful beings on the planet can be, and how far humanity may go in its attempts to restore what has been nearly lost. The last male Spix's macaw living in the wild disappeared in 2000, effectively marking the end of this species in nature. As of today, the blue macaw is no longer found in its natural habitat, and extinction has become inevitable. However, several dozen individuals still live in private collections in zoos, which gives a weak hope for the preservation of the species. Humans, as is often the case, played a key role in the extinction of the blue macaw. Habitat destruction, hunting, and the trade of exotic birds have become the main reasons for the decline in their population. However, this was not the only threat to the blue macaw. African bees, known as killer bees, have become another unexpected and serious problem. These aggressive insects have taken over all suitable nesting cavities, displacing the blue macaws from their usual habitats. Wow! I didn't know about this. This tragic story reminds us how human intervention, even indirect, can lead to the extinction of a species. Today, the bird exists only in zoos, making it yet another example of how easily nature can lose its unique inhabitants. The subspecies of the western black rhinoceros was officially declared extinct on November 10, 2013. Like many other rhinoceroses, it has fallen victim to human greed and superstitions associated with the horns of these animals. Baseless myths about the miraculous properties of rhinoceros horns have led to the mass extermination of these majestic creatures. In the 1970s, when the oil monarchies of the Persian Gulf were experiencing rapid economic growth, black rhinos became particularly desirable trophies. In these countries, there was a trend for daggers with handles made from rhinoceros horn, which were considered a sign of status and wealth. This trend has led to the mass hunting of rhinos, which has nearly exterminated an entire subspecies. Unfortunately, even today, rhinoceros horns continue to be in demand, especially in Chinese medicine, despite the absence of any scientifically proven healing properties. The extermination of the western black rhinoceros is a vivid example of how thoughtless use of natural resources can lead to the complete extinction of unique species. The Abingdon giant tortoise was once one of the most impressive inhabitants of the Galapagos Islands. When Charles Darwin visited these lands in 1835, turtles were found everywhere. But with each passing year, there were fewer and fewer of them, and eventually, only one remained on the islands, the famous Lonely George. Do you know about him? Lonely George became the last representative of his species, and all hopes for the survival of the Abingdon tortoise were tied to him. He lived in the reserve, where he was cared for by the caretaker Fausto Liarina for more than 40 years. It seemed that there was still hope, but on June 24, 2012, George was found dead. He was about 100 years old, and despite all efforts, he did not leave any offspring. This story leaves many questions behind. Could George have been the key to saving his species? How did it happen that an entire species was reduced to a single individual? The disappearance of Lonely George was yet another reminder of how quickly and irreversibly even the most unique creatures on our planet can vanish. These stories about extinct and endangered animals serve as a serious warning for all of us. They show how easily we can lose the unique inhabitants of our planet. Species are disappearing, and nothing can be returned. But is there still a chance to save those on the brink of extinction? Can human efforts help nature? Or will we continue to watch it disappear? It all depends on what actions we take right now. There is still time to save, but it is running out. Speaking of actions, friends, you have the opportunity to join our team. If you know how to edit videos or perhaps write interesting scripts, we would be happy to have you on our team. Please write to the Telegram bot. The link is in the description.